Coming up next, 10 skills to put on your resume. I'll tell you how to get hired during the coronavirus crisis. We'll take your calls and your chats, and it all starts right now. Coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville. You are joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do that, and how you can get there. It's all about you. I'm Ken. So excited to have you with us here on the Ken Coleman Show. It's all about you because you were created to fill a unique role. That means you were needed, and it means you must do it. Because somebody out there needs you to be you, and I am your guide. You have the answers to what do you do best, what do you love to do most, and what results matter most. And I've got to pull them out of you. So let's get about that. Now, I'm going to cover this coronavirus thing because there is a massive opportunity right now. I'm going to get to that later, so you got to hang on for that. All right? But I'm telling you, don't freak out and panic. In fact, some of you right now, this is the time to act. I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell you how. That's coming up later in the program. So what are some great things to put on your resume, your Ken Coleman Show resume that you can get it free at kencoleman.com? And this is practical stuff from lifehack.org. I'm going to cite this article here because there's some really good stuff here. And when you look at the template, the guide at kencoleman.com, there's a section where you're going to put all that in, this stuff in there where, boom, it's like short, sweet, to the point. So they get a really good snapshot. Here we go. And by the way, asterisk, don't put these skills on your resume if you're not a 9 or a 10. I may give you an 8. But if you're a 7 or lower, if you rank yourself 1 to 10, if you're not an 8 or higher, please don't list this. They're going to find out if you lied. Here we go. Computer and tech skills. Specific computer tech skills. You've got to be specific here. I'm really good at this software, this technology, this app, whatever. Adaptability. You know, you're wanting to put out here that, hey, I can go with the flow. That's an attractive quality. Organization. Be specific about the organizing skills you have. You love it. You're good at it. That's, again, a very attractive, practical skill. Communication. The ability to communicate well. And by the way, if you're going to list this out, be super specific. Don't just say, I'm good at communication. I'm a really good listener. I'm good. It's not just I talk well. That's not communication. Be specific again, so that people have a really, so go 3 levels deeper. So instead of saying I'm good at communication, how are you good? Why are you good? That's what you're looking for here. Okay, keep moving. Leadership skills, work ethic, dependability, multitasking, and analytical problem-solving skills. And then don't forget what I believe is the most important skill in any job, any career, anywhere. People skills. I'm telling you, you could be taught a lot of skills. And you can actually get better at people skills. But if you've got good people skills, they call them soft skills, right? I'm telling you, lead with that. I am really good with people in this area in this way. I'd be that specific, I'd fill in the blank. And I think if you do that, as they're scanning that resume, the Ken Coleman Show resume is already going to make you stand out because it looks different than every other resume out there. If you don't believe me, go to kencoleman.com right now, download it. I walk you through how to do it, why to do it, and then we give you a template where we just plug your information in and spit out a gorgeous and very eye-catching resume because it looks different. So go get it, kencoleman.com. 844-747-2577 is the number to jump in, 844-747-2577. We go to Fort Wayne, Indiana, where Jonathan is on the line. Jonathan, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, thank you for having me on today. I've been listening to you for a few months, and you're really encouraging and learned a lot from you.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you listening. How can I help you today?
Well, I'm struggling to get a job. I've been looking now for about 3-4 months total. I just lost my job of 3 years, in outside sales. I did industrial sales and brought in more opportunities than anybody in the company's history.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't hitting my numbers every month, and there were various reasons why I wasn't. And I'm not getting the offer. I feel like maybe because I don't know, I'm interviewing wrong or what. But I've had up to final interviews with a few different companies. I have the typical phone screen with the bigger ones, and then move to the face-to-face. And so I'm struggling, Ken, with how to.
Okay,
I guess
you broke up. Let's break this thing down. I know you're struggling. I know you're feeling down about yourself right now, and I get that. But we've got to change your mindset. And I think you're spending too much time thinking about what you've done wrong, and I think that's good to kind of look into that. But the problem is, in today's world, you don't get a lot of feedback anymore, and I don't think you're gonna get. Yeah, so if you spend too much time trying to get clarity out of an ambiguous situation, it's going to drive you crazy. And I think you're on the verge of going crazy. You know what I'm saying? It'll drive you nuts. Okay, so here's the deal.
I've got 4 kids, so that helps.
Yeah, well, that's true. All right, so here's the deal. How many final interviews have you had recently where you didn't get the gig, where you were one of the finalists?
I think.
Just give me ballpark.
It's been a couple. Well, probably 5.
Okay, so a lot. And you've been the final. And how many people were you up against? With just 1 or 2? I mean, I'm trying to get an idea of what you've been doing.
Well, one of them I followed up with because they reposted the job, and I was up against. Supposedly, I was up against, and I didn't know this, somebody internally that had experience in the industry, and they said I didn't need experience in the industry, but they hired the guy over me. And I asked the guy for feedback, and he was kind enough, and he said to me, he's like, well, he didn't believe you that you liked cold calling and that you were good at cold calling. I was like, I wasn't lying. It's the truth. I'm good at it. I'm personable. And
okay. All right, here's the deal.
I know what I'm doing.
I know you do. Here's the deal. You are going to get the gig when you are truly having a strong relationship connection that gets you way far and ahead of everybody else. It's just that simple. You've done a good job because you've got experience, and I think you got talent to get you to the point where you have been so far. But you know what? You just, for whatever reason, we just simply don't know if you're not performing well in the interview. So I choose not to focus on that. But I don't think it matters as much if you've got a strong relationship. Did you have a good relationship connection inside those companies?
Yeah, I did. And so that's the other thing so I built a database of like over 400 contacts within this region.
Okay.
And so I'm like, well, I mean, maybe I could try to source those contacts, but the company I was with had a bit of a different. It's a whole nother subject.
Yeah, here's the deal, Jonathan. You're going off. You're going to a different place. I don't know. I can't coach you. I can't coach you on interviews if I don't know that I don't know what you're doing in these interviews. So I'm kind of walking in a cave right now.
I think it's my confidence. That's what I've been told by a couple people. My confidence, and then explaining why. Like, how do I explain I didn't hit my numbers? I hit my numbers at other places. I brought in more business opportunities than anybody in the company's history.
Okay, so are you bringing
more sales calls than anybody else?
Right. Okay, so hold on, Jonathan, listen. Are you telling me in these interviews that you're in that the conversation is coming up that you didn't hit your numbers in your past job?
Yeah.
Why is that coming up? How is that information coming out?
Well, sales organizations, a lot of times they want you to hit your numbers. They're very metric oriented.
You're not hearing what I'm saying. How is it that you were going into interviews at other companies and it's coming up that you didn't hit your numbers in a certain season? Because it wasn't all the time. It was just recently. Okay. How is that coming up? Are you willingly telling them, well, on my last job, I got let go because I didn't hit my numbers? Are you just like offering that information?
Well, maybe I am. Maybe I'm offering too much information.
I think we've got ourselves a winner, Jonathan, and it's not about being dishonest. So here's the deal.
Yeah.
You like sales, yes or no?
I do.
You're good at sales.
My ultimate goal is to be a sales trainer someday.
Okay, so here's the deal. Are you good at sales, yes or no?
Yes.
Can you go back, and not on this phone call, but can you go back in and break down your last gig and go, I brought in more revenue than anybody had ever brought in, but then somewhere along the way, my numbers fell off, and I need to do a true self-examination and maybe call some former coworkers or your former leader and go, hey, listen, I got no hard feelings about you guys letting me go. My numbers fell off. But I'm just curious. I need to do some self-reflection and I want to learn. You got to do that to find out what did you do differently if you aren't able to actually identify it yourself. And so we need to figure that out, because it's not that you can't do it. It's not that you don't love to sell. So I think you're just not performing well in the interview. That's the only evidence I've got. Because you've been working the proximity principle, it sounds like to me, but we don't stop using it just because it doesn't work in 5 interviews. We keep going. You're in a great job economy right now. I think you're presenting. I think you're presenting poorly. And brother, either you believe in yourself or you don't. And if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to hire a guy whose confidence is shot. So go back and find out what happened from record sales guy to not hitting numbers guy. What happened? You control that. That's on you. So get clarity on it and go, oh, okay, I know what I did wrong. I can fix that. Now my confidence gets back up. I think that's the solution here. Now, one other thing, and I got to move on to Caleb. If you want to get into sales training, start applying for some sales training jobs. I go, why are you in here? Well, you know what? I've always been a good salesman. I like selling, but I really love the leadership and the coaching component to leading a team. Start going after those gigs. But for heaven's sakes, Jonathan, don't go in a job interview and air your dirty laundry. It doesn't make any sense. You're not an unethical guy. You're not lying. You know? Somebody says, why are you here? Why'd you leave your last job? It's, for a salesperson, you got to be fired up. You got to be excited about it. And done it a long time. I think I'm looking for a new challenge, something exciting to sell, and I can get excited about selling here. That's an honest answer. But the bottom line is you're bruised right now, and you're acting like you're bruised in these interviews. And I think the one piece of feedback you got is the best feedback you've gotten. Get your chin up, man. Keep moving forward. 844-747-2577. Caleb is in Louisville, Kentucky. Caleb, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can I help?
Well, I'm in a situation where I'm trying to figure out, do I stick with my current job or do I go with something else I'm interested in? Let me give you a little bit of background.
Okay.
So I've been an elementary music teacher for 6 years, and I've started out especially being very passionate about the job, really having huge interest in it. It was really a dream job, dream location, great staff, great place, great pay. There's no reason I should have a problem with my job. But over the last couple of years, I just find myself losing passion, losing interest, and struggling to get up in the morning to even to want to go to work.
Why? Why? Come on, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You can't.
I don't know if I want to do it anymore.
Yeah, why? What's making you question it? You just told us it was a dream everything. And then all of a sudden, and it's not all of a sudden, actually, I shouldn't say it that way. There's always a creep. There's some type of creeping thought in your head or a creeping feeling in your heart, and it's grown over time. And all of a sudden, bam, one day it just shows up and you're like, wow, where'd that come from? It's like a weed. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I want you to do your best to tell me. That's why you called me. We can't go any further. Right. I can't truly help you, Caleb, until you do your best to identify what is the thought or the feeling that has gotten so big that what was once a dream, now you don't want to get out of bed in the morning. What is it?
Well, I told you I'm kind of potentially in a point of transition here, and this is my other thought. This is what I want to maybe transition to. I've been getting more and more and more involved as a volunteer musician with my church and music ministry, and I feel like the more I get into that, the more passionate I'm getting about that, and the more I feel like, man, I wish I could just spend more time there.
Okay, so pause. So is that the answer to my question? Is it that you have fallen in love with something else and it's taken your heart and your attention, and so the thing that you're doing now that was a dream feels like a weight? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, good.
And I can't figure out, because my family's moved around a lot my whole life. I've now been here in this town for 6 years teaching, and this is the longest I've lived anywhere my whole life. So I'm just trying to figure out,
Stop.
is it just my body's been...
Stop. That is not anything you need to be thinking about right now. Well, we'll get to that. But see, that's clouding you right now. That is not even a relevant piece of information to me right now. It will be.
Okay.
But do you see what I'm saying? Caleb, what is it that you do tomorrow if I guaranteed you couldn't fail and you'd make the money you needed? Say it.
I would be writing music and ministering to people. It feels crazy saying it, but ideally, if I could find a way to full-time write music, perform, and share scriptural truth with people through music, encourage believers who need encouraging, share the gospel with people who haven't heard it before. If I could do that full-time, it would be the dream job now.
But you can do that full-time. You may not be able to do it full-time tomorrow. You may not be able to do it full-time 6 months from now. But you can do that full-time, yes or no?
Yeah.
That's not a pipe dream, Caleb. That's not absurd. But the way you said that, your brain has told you and is still telling you live on the air right now that that's an absurd idea. And it's not absurd. Am I right or am I wrong?
I know that you're right. I want to feel that you're right. It's hard.
Okay, I know it's hard, but now I'm going to tell you why you think it's absurd, why your brain's fighting your heart. Because when I asked you to tell me what you do tomorrow if you knew you couldn't fail, your whole physiology changed. You started rattling. You've been really stilted and kind of pausing and unsure the whole time. You kind of talk a little bit, And then when I asked you to just tell me what you did, it just went like this. Just came right out. Like you're singing a chorus. Everybody heard it. That's your heart. But your head's going, let me see if I've got some of your head voice. Tell me where I get off course.
Okay.
I don't want to move. I'm scared of moving. It's going to mess my family up. Blah, 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 blah. Make me uncomfortable. I don't know if I've got what it takes. I know I love the idea of doing it, but I don't know if I've got to go back to school. I don't know if I can afford that. Who will hire me to be a worship leader? Do I really have what it takes? Would anybody sing my songs? I think it's all that kind of stuff. Am I right? Am I kind of around the fear?
I think you're about 75%. Yeah.
What am I missing?
I'm not really afraid to move. I
brought it up.
If I'm right. But I think my issue is I just don't know if I'm in a rut that I need to work myself out of and I can get back into teaching and be passionate about that again, or if I'm just so used to changing every so years, my body feels its want to change.
No, you're overthinking. You may have played a doctor on TV, but you're not a doctor, and I appreciate you trying to say that. Let me tell you what I think it is. This is what you really want to do, and I want to know what the 25% of fear I didn't identify. What is it? You said I'm 75% right. What's the other 25 I didn't identify?
I think I feel like I'm really good at my job right now. I'm a professional. I'm well-trained, above average trained. I keep going back to school to get better at this job. And so leaving this with, I think it comes down to a really good, reliable 9 to 5 where I don't have to worry about the paycheck. I don't have to worry about the insurance. I think that's what it comes down to.
Oh, okay, great. So let me set you free.
I feel kind of silly leaving my degree job for something that I don't know how prepared I am or am not for it yet.
Okay, great. Now I'm glad you said that because I got good news for you, Caleb. I would never tell you or any other caller on the show in your situation to leave right now. I told you you could do it, but I told you can't do it 6 days from now, 6 weeks from now, and maybe not even 6 months from now. So you're going to stay in that job that was a dream job, and you're going to change your mentality because you're going to go, wait a second, I'm going to start doing more worship leading and songwriting on the side. That's going to make your heart come alive. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. And guess what? When you realize it, you don't have to leap and you don't have to leave this job of being an elementary school music teacher. You don't have to leave the stability to pursue the ultimate dream. You actually will stay there until the opportunity materializes and you walk triumphantly and effortlessly from the school into the ministry position. But until then, you're actually going to get the juice back. And I would suggest to you, I'll bet you tomorrow morning you have more of a bounce in your step if you do what I tell you to do right now, and that is change your mindset. The elementary school music teacher position was a dream job because of the place, the kids, what you're doing. You're really good at it. You love it. You love music, great principal, great coworkers. You said all these amazing things. Guess what? That's still true. But what happened is your heart got a spark when you thought about the idea of full-time music and ministry, and you experience some of it with your church in a volunteer situation, and then you go, boy, I really love this. Did I waste half of my life? Did I go the wrong direction? Then you started getting inside your head, and then you started feeling bad about yourself, and you go, what do I do now? And I'm all confused. I'm going to call Ken Coleman. And what I'm telling you is, am I right, by the way?
Yeah, you're nailing it.
Oh, I'm nailing it. Of course. Now, here's the deal, Caleb. So now I want you to reset. God created you to do what you're doing with those elementary school students. You keep teaching music. You keep doing something that you actually really love. That was a dream job. It's not your dream job going forward, but it's still preparing you for the future. And now I want you to pursue writing music and doing more volunteering. And maybe you get a part-time worship leader job at another church. You just get in and write songs and lead worship and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep showing up and keep showing up and keep showing up. And then you have all this gratitude for this day job. That was a dream job. And I think it might feel like a dream job again because you're going to go, oh my gosh, I'm in a great environment and I get to teach the one thing that fires my soul up more than anything else outside of my family and your faith, and that's music. You're in a great situation, bro. Change your attitude. Don't change your location. Change your attitude. Get after it. 844-747-2577. Coming up, you don't want to move. I'm going to tell you how to get hired right in the middle of the coronavirus crisis. And it's not silly. I'm not going to be sarcastic, but I'm going to head right into this thing. So don't miss that. But first to the chat room we go. Crystal Goggin writes in, my full-time job requires that we would disclose a second job. What's the best way to approach this with my boss? I've recently completed the Financial Coach Master's Training course from Ramsey Solutions, and I want to launch a money coaching business. This is super simple. Hey, boss. Dave Ramsey has helped my family. Here's how he's helped. And as a result, it has created this deep passion in me to help other people. And so I went and got trained because I'd love to do some financial coaching on the side. It's not going to be a full-time business. I can't even see that happening for years because it's an entrepreneurial thing. It's not going to distract from what I'm doing here. But because of company policy, plus I'd love for you to know that I'm going to be doing some coaching on nights and weekends. And I'm super excited about it. And just wanted you to know about it, and I want to answer any questions you have. Done. There's nothing more to that. If they have a problem with it, you should have a problem with him or her and that company. That's insane. Okay, so be honest, forthright. What you're doing's good. Hey, I'd throw it out there. Hey, listen, over time, I'd love to offer the services to our team members if they need some extra coaching. Hey, that's a great idea, Crystal. I think I'll send a company-wide email out. You never know what's going to happen. DJ Widget. He's sent in questions before. Okay, I knew I recognized the name DJ Widget. All right, he wants to run a business with a couple employees, and I'm completely new to this endeavor. Is there a standard percentage or rule of what I should pay myself? No. Not when you're starting something. There is no standard percentage or rules. All the rules are out the window. You're the chief everything officer. Here's what I would tell you. I am not a fan of an entrepreneurial venture being relied upon to actually pay your bills. I think that's way too much stress. It's just not smart. So if you got a couple employees, I'm assuming that you got revenues coming in to be able to cover them. I'd take care of them. Any extra profit, I'd pour it back into the company. You don't have to do that. So if you want to pay yourself a little something, you're the last person that gets paid. That's what I would do. Because I just think there's too much pressure for you to go, I need to make this much money. Then don't hire the employees. Try to do a lot of it yourself early on. But there's a rule of thumb. And I think as the thing gets going, you would pay yourself first. But the idea of your salary and your team, this idea of pay myself first and I'm gonna put some money away, but that's after this thing gets up and running. So early on, let's just see what's left over at the end of the month. And I think make a very smart, wise decision. And if you're going to pay yourself, I wouldn't spend it. That's always what I want to do there. I want to be very cautious and give this thing a year to 2 years to get healthy. Amanda Boehm writes in, or Boehm, she says, how does a person change the just till layoff mindset? I have a very seasonal job and everyone treats layoff like Fridays. How do you change the just till layoff mindset? Well, that's having bigger picture thinking. You can be in a seasonal job and the layoff is just part of the deal. So in order to change that mindset, it's not just till layoff. It's like, hey, I'm doing this for this amount of time, and then I'm going to go do this. And while I'm doing this is preparing me, or this is funding something, or this is taking care of something, and it's just a part of the overall plan. And I think if you have a big picture mindset, you're not going to be in this, just till layoff, I'm just going to do this. And then you don't really give it everything you need to give it. And I would look at every opportunity, even a seasonal job, as an opportunity to set you up for the next, set you up financially, set you up professionally, where other people say good things about you. Okay. So I'd give it everything you got, because someone's always watching. And every opportunity should put you in a mindset to perform in a way that it always leads to another opportunity. At least that's what you're looking forward to. 844-747-2577. Should I Quit My Job quiz is the hottest resource we've got right now. Our resume guide is still crazy hot, but this new quiz is going bananas. Takes you 3 minutes. It's 20 questions. It's going to spit out one of 4 reports. And it's the nudge that many of you need. So go get it right now, KenColeman.com, Should I Quit My Job quiz. And while you're at KenColeman.com, if you love what we teach about using proximity to the right people and the right places to get opportunity to move forward in your career, go get the proximity principle. You got a great bundle deal right now at KenColeman.com. For $25, you get all 3 versions of the book, the ebook, the audio book read to you by me, and then the hard copy with my autograph. That's an incredible deal. It's the gift that keeps on giving. You only need one format. Give the other 2 away. 844-747-2577. Okay. Deep breath, exhale. I don't want anybody to misunderstand me right now, but I want to address the coronavirus. I'm watching the news, and 2 things popped up in front of me this morning that are relevant to you. Here we go. Number 1, all of a sudden, medical jobs, that could be everything from a lab to a technician, nonprofits that are helping out with testing kits. I'm reading this article, even like Bill Gates Foundation. They just opened up a bunch of job opportunities in the Seattle area to try to address this issue all around the world. And I'm not going to get into the hype. I'm not going to get into my personal opinion on this. I think that we have a world that is dominated by negative news, because that's what makes you pay attention and keep watching or clicking. I'm not saying it's a hoax. It's absolutely real. But you go do your own homework on how many people died from the flu last year, and you look at the numbers, okay? I think there's a lot of hysteria. I think you got to be vigilant. I think government's got to act the right way. I think businesses got to act the right way. But here's what is happening. The world is still spinning on its axis right now. And I'm reading that there are medical positions that are opening up like this. And it's a great time in an already hot job market. If you're interested in getting in the medical field and you got some basic qualifications, they need all hands on deck. and they're going, hey, we need people, I would step up today. That's number one. It's a great time for you to jump in. There's a high demand right now in the medical field for additional people to jump in. Don't be scared. Step up. Second thought, I saw that Google is now canceling in-person interviews for jobs. And they're doing Google Hangouts. Now, I am not bringing that up to criticize. It's not where I'm going. Google can do that. I don't think that's silly per se. It's an overabundance of caution. And hey, technology has gotten to the point where you can do a job interview, see everybody, you can read body language. Great. It's fantastic. But I'm telling you, my audience, who I care deeply about, there's an opportunity here. Because other companies are going to start doing this. And if you got the guts, if they're open to it, if you got the guts to actually walk in an office and sit down and present yourself in person, I think it's a great time to get the job. Don't freak out. If you get a job opportunity today, tomorrow, the next week, the next 3 weeks, the next 4 weeks, the next 3 months, don't freak out. Wash your hands after every handle. Get you some antibac. Spray yourself with Lysol for all I care. Just don't breathe it in. I imagine you wouldn't perform well in the interview if you inhaled the Lysol. You get my point. I think now's the time to show up. Show up. Step up. The economy's going to keep moving. I don't know what it's going to do tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to do next month. I don't know if it's going to go up, go down. I don't know. Here's what I know. Interest rates are at an all-time low, and mortgage applications have not slowed down at all. And I'll remind you that 40-some thousand people, somewhere in that range, died of a car accident in the United States last year. I think it was 72,000 people died of the flu in the United States last year. We didn't shut the world down because of flu. We don't stop driving cars because people die in car accidents. I'm not trying to be insensitive here. I'm just being realistic. This is an opportunity for you to step into fear, be smart, wash your hands, stop shaking hands, and let's do fist bumps. Can we all do that? How about that for the next 30 days? Let's create this right now on the Ken Coleman Show. The fist bump challenge. I'm not going to shake hands anymore. I'm just going to stick the old rock out there, punch the rock, baby. Right? Not a lot of virus on knuckles. So what if we all just stop shaking hands and, hey, put her there, pal. All right, let's go. Go to the job interview. You're not going to put yourself in harm's way if you're smart and you sanitize. I think it's a perfect time to get a job. I really do. Companies are going to still need to keep on moving. So when you read the news, one last little public service announcement. Please read all of the news. We just found out, I found out an hour before I went live. We have our first confirmed case in Tennessee, and it's in our county where I'm sitting right now. That's the headline. Guess what? Joe, 3 paragraphs into the article. The confirmed patient is a 44-year-old man who is suffering from mild symptoms. And he has quarantined himself. Read the full story. Don't panic. All right. Enough. I had to address it because I think it's a great time to get hired right now. I really do. People are freaking out, man. And you just got to kind of keep a level head and move forward. All right, back to the phones we go. Let's see. Natalie joins us in Atlanta, Georgia. Natalie, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for taking my call today.
Sure, Natalie. How can I help?
So I work in IT for a large retail corporation, and I was promoted to a technology director about 2 years ago. In my gut, I did not believe it was a good idea to take the promotion, but I did it anyway.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, my VP talked me into it, and he said he would help me develop into the role. I just didn't feel like I was ready yet, so I trusted him.
Yeah, but hold on a second. Hold on, just for our audience, because I think I know what the answer is. I'm going to let you get right back on the train.
Sure.
I know your boss talked you into it, but you took it because of what? Give me the one reason you took it.
Well...
Come on.
it's rare that you get this opportunity, right? Yep. And I've heard people say sometimes leadership is about being in the right place at the right time.
No.
So I took a leap of faith.
Yeah, but why? Why did you take it? There was one deciding factor where you went, okay, because you told the audience and me that you didn't think you were ready for it. I don't think he talked you into it. I think there was one deciding factor, and I want you to tell me why you took it. Say it. Oh man, this is rare.
Lots of people told me to take it.
No, you took it.
It was hard to say no. I couldn't say no.
I know why. Let me just break it to you. You took it because it was a pay raise, and it felt good to be wanted.
That's one reason.
No, that's the primary reason. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I want everybody to hear that. I'm not judging you, Natalie. Let's just call it out. That's what that was the deciding factor.
It was a factor. I didn't know how much I was going to make yet when I took the role.
All right, I'll give it to you on a technicality. I wanted everybody to hear that, though, because that's where we get ourselves in trouble. That's why we're on the phone together. All right, now let's keep going. Go.
True. Yeah. So I was thrust into a chaotic environment, and I didn't have any preparation.
Right.
So my VP didn't follow through on his promise.
Of course not.
And then there was a large initiative, a big team of us were working on. It failed. My VP got fired last year, and now I have another boss. So things are kind of a mess right now. I feel like my career is ruined because of this failed initiative.
It's not. What's your question for me? How can I help you?
How can I turn this around? I would really like to stay in my role, if possible.
Okay.
But I feel like I just haven't been able to develop those skills in order to perform at this level yet.
Okay, great. So that's what you mean by turn this around. So this is simple. I want you to identify for me, and don't use a lot of words. Just give me the top 2, 3, whatever it is, 4 things that you know, Ken, I need to get better skills in these areas, and then I can turn this around. Now I can handle what was previously chaotic. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
What is it? Tell me. What are the things that you need to get better at?
So I think I need to improve my relationship with my business partners, the people that I serve.
Oh, that's easy.
I need to talk to more people and reach out more.
Yeah. Okay.
Let them know that I'm here.
There you go. What else?
And I think the other part is just leadership in general.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So guess what? I got great news for you, Natalie. We can get really good at relationships and leadership. Those are learnable skills. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
I believe it.
All right, so I'm going to give you some things that you need to do, okay? I want you, before I let you go, I want you to stay on the line, and I'm going to get you a copy of Entree Leadership, Dave Ramsey's #1 best-selling book. It's the playbook on how we lead here at Ramsey Solutions, and it's fantastic, okay? I want you to start listening to the Entree Leadership podcast, okay? I used to host it. I handed it over to a young man named Alex Judd, who's doing a wonderful job. You're going to get a lot of interviews. It's free. It comes out every week. You're going to hear the best and brightest, okay?
I just listened to it this morning, actually, for the first time.
I want you to buy a book called The 360-Degree Leader. It's written by a friend of mine, John Maxwell, who I used to work for. I want you to buy that book today. You understand?
Okay. Yes.
And it's going to help you. And what it means, the 360-degree leader is the idea of leading up. I'm leading my peers, and then I'm leading down, people that actually work for me. It's a wonderful book. It'll really encourage you and equip you with some practical things, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now, then I want you to get the classic book, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yes.
Okay? And I want you to actually read it, all right? And then I want you to get another book by a guy by the name of Tim Sanders, who's a friend of mine and a best-selling author. It's called The Likability Factor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great book. I highly recommend it. And this is going to help you with real likability in a practical way in the office. And I want you to then, after you read all these things, and while you're reading these things, I want you to just put everything into practice. And I want you to start tomorrow by reaching out to certain people. Go, hey, I want to buy your lunch. And I want you to just go be interested in them and interested in their initiatives and how you can plug into them. And let me tell you something, Natalie, you will turn that boat around so fast, it'll make your head spin. I'm telling you, hang on the line. We're going to get you the Entre Leadership book, and you go get those other books. Well, unfortunately, my time is up. But before I let you go, I want you to know that you matter and you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.